That, ladies and gentlemen, now it's time we move for the final panel session. It will be my honor and privilege to introduce you to all the panel members. So please help me welcome them on stage with a big round of applause. Joining us first, Dr. Ashok Priyadarshi, Senior Vice President, HR and CSR from Alkem Laboratories. Can we have a big round of applause for Dr. Ashok? Welcome to the stage, sir. Please have your seat. Joining next, we have Mr. Mahesh Kutarkar, Vice President HR from Reliance Digital. A big round of applause to Mahesh ji. Welcome to the panel, sir. Welcome. Joining next on the panel, we have Ravi Hemnani, Vice President HR and Head of Talent Learning from Nuvoco Vistas Group. A big round of applause to Ravi ji. Ravi ji, welcome to the panel, sir. Please have your seat. Joining next on the panel, we have Ms. Reena Tyagi, Chief People and Organization Officer, Generally Central Life Insurance. A big round of applause to Reena, ma'am. Welcome to the panel, madam. Please have your seat. Joining next on the panel, we have Mr. Devesh Johns, Head of HR from Raymond Realty. A big round of applause to Mr. John. Welcome to the panel, sir. Please have your seat. Joining next on the panel, we have Mr. Kinjal Choudhary, Global President HR, Cadila Pharmaceuticals. A big round of applause to Kinjal, sir. Welcome to the panel, sir. Please have your seat. And our honorable moderator for this panel, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome with a big round of applause, Mr. Sumit Mukherjee, Senior Vice President HR, HDFC ERGO General Insurance. A big round of applause to Mr. Mukherjee. Welcome to the panel, sir. Anything you wish, sir. From there, you can take the podium as well. So all over to you, gentlemen. Mr. Mukherjee, all over to you. Looking forward to a great session.
All right. Let me welcome the entire panel again. Don't need to introduce all over again. So good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. And I know throughout the day you've been hearing a lot about AI, you've been hearing a lot about technology and about how it is going to impact a lot of things. And this panel, as it happens, also talks about AI. But of course, we are looking at it from a slightly different perspective. The topic, of course, as it says, intelligent HR and how AI is a game changer in human resources. But when we talk about that, it's not just about, what is AI and how it is going to impact us. It's about how we utilize the tools which are available to us and how do we ensure that whatever is available is being used to the maximum extent possible, right? Because, given the panel as I have today, it's going to be an enriching experience because this panel actually comprises of people from various industries with varying points of views and various kinds of experiences. So let me start this by asking the first question to Reena. Reena, the role of a CHRO in balancing HR and technology in HR is becoming very critical. So what are your views on what the role is going to be for the future?
Yeah, thank you for that question. And so CHRO's role, see, one, we all know that any transformation which happens, including digital transformation, it has to be led from the front by HR. So AI-related transformations are no exceptions. So obviously AI, if you're expecting your business to be run on AI models, AI completely integrated into the business strategy, it is also important that AI becomes a very integrated part of your HR strategy also, or your people strategy also. But one thing that CHROs, in my assessment, and happy to take any other comments, is that CHRO has to be a very effective bridge between humans and technology. We as CHROs need to ensure that the AI strategy is integrated into our people strategy completely, but also at the same time does not compromise on our values, on our culture, on our people agenda, which leads to a lot of connect, because nowadays we are talking about, especially post-COVID, that for employees, one of the key differentiators is well-being. A key differentiator is, what is the purpose of the organization? So we as CHROs have to really ensure that AI is integrated, but not at the cost of ignoring our culture, our values. Just to share an example, a couple of examples, possibly we at Generali Central have been really working on our AI strategy very strongly for last 2 years, and HR has been on the forefront in terms of working on use cases, for our employees. So if I decide to roll out, and we have always had these HR, Ask HR, etc. But if I decide to roll out an AI-enabled Ask HR or a help desk, which is like a chatbot, a AI-enabled chatbot, does it help me? Of course it helps me, because in last couple of years, the way we have expanded is our work, our models have been more virtual. People are based at locations where there are no offices. Things are changing very dramatically every day. So is there something which is available for my employee at the go, very easily on the phone? Can he or she really ask questions? Because our HR business partners used to get almost 3,000 calls in a month. That was the kind of call inflow which was happening because of, whatever, things, the way we are moving. So definitely it is helpful. But can that chatbot replace my programs around well-being? Can it replace my programs around, for example, if there is coaching, which coaching also, I'll speak to you about it, it can replace coaching to an extent, but the human connect, which is required by the employees, which is a key differentiator, no. So will it bring efficiency into my system? Definitely. Will it become, will it give a very consistent employee experience to the employees? Definitely. But can it replace the human touch? No. So that's where we as CHROs have to ensure that we maintain that balance, whether it is in terms of our workforce planning, our own HR department planning, or the policies and programs. So that's one. Second example that we are really using, some of the use cases are like in our performance management, we are working on we are very excited about that use case, where if our salespeople are going on the field, it is more a voice analysis through AI. Can their calls be analyzed, the learning needs identified, and those learning needs shared with the HR team or the learning team, and there's a AI-enabled learning management system which completely directs them to the learning programs which are relevant for them. And that's the kind of use cases. Even AI-enabled coaching on certain identified areas is something, and there are tools available for that which are ready-made, which you can work on. So these are areas that we are working on, but again, in this area too, I cannot replace, we have all known that learning has to be phygital. We know it's a blended learning system. So where to draw the line, how to see the effectiveness is the role HR can play. Third point I want to make on this is that while AI is taking over, we as CHROs have to ensure that empathy as a competency in leaders has to be made even more stronger. Because whether it is customers or our employees, if their interaction is going to be happening more through AI agents, it is even more important that our leaders are more empathetic. They can relate to their employees, they can have those meaningful conversations with them, which are either for performance or non-performance or any other area which they need to. So one is that. Second is bringing up our capability of our employees, which brings up their digital mindset. So which is adapting to, we were discussing in the speaker room also that today, it's not that you will become redundant because AI jobs are coming, you will become redundant if you don't know AI. So how can we enable our employees to ensure they're upskilled to be able to handle AI? So that, in my view, is the role of CHRO. But yeah.
Thank you so much, Veena. In fact, very interestingly, I'll just pick up that point which you mentioned about coaching, AI in coaching, and it's something which is a reality today. And the way that you are describing it is something which is very interesting indeed.
Yes, 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 it is. We are also excited.
It can be a wonderful learning for everybody. No doubt about that. I'll actually direct a question now to Dr. Ashok. Now, AI has been around for a few years. It's developing. It's continuing to develop. We see changes happening at a very rapid pace. How do we integrate AI with HR in a way that we reinvent HR?
Yeah, Sumit. So, I think people have listening about AI since morning, and I was also not believing. I was thinking AI is a hype. People are creating a hype. I'm from a pharmaceutical industry. Industry is running well. So what kind of AI can add value to our HR processes? Last month, we have a product which patent is expiring, and the business was looking for 1,000 people recruitment in 15 days time, which was a Herculean task. Earlier also we did that, but the kind of network support which we have taken, the consultant support taken, people support taken. So, but fortunately, in current generation, there are 3 generations working together. Generation X, millennials, and Gen Z. And that combination is working well. That's a good part. So, when we have seen this challenge and we all sat together, this combination has really worked, and you are able to recruit 1,000 people with the help of this technological support like AI, which was not possible in earlier times. So definitely AI is redefining all HR processes. Recruitment, I told you one aspect, from recruitment to employee development to retirement. In all aspects, AI has going to redefine the processes, and new processes has to be built or established. In recruitment, when we are seeing the thousands of CVs can be shortlisted in seconds by giving the right prompts, and which we have experienced. The thousands of recruitment or the interviews has been taken, and people recruited based on the competency or the skill set which is required. So definitely that has enabled the earlier processes, and AI is very helpful in recruitment, onboarding, and the employee queries, where the employees help desk was there, HR people were listening the queries, resolving the queries of the people 24 hours. Nowadays, the chatbots, the easy chatbots with the help of AI, that can be sorted out, and HR is there as a help desk 24 hours without burnout of the people. Secondly, in terms of employee development, because we are in a, mostly our people are in the blue collar people, the workers or the medical representatives, where we have not seen this kind of development where AI can create a self-paced learning to them, understanding the skill gaps, where the skill gaps, which level they are, whether it's a beginner level, intermediate, or the expert level. Based on that, the AI is providing them a self-paced learning. Based on their own time, they can developing themselves. And in terms of employee performance management, where the people having some issues with the lesser performance, we are providing coaching, counseling, where also this kind of support is available. So I'm saying that AI will be a game changer in all processes of HR. Only thing that AI is a technology which is 20% of that. But definitely it requires adaptability of the people. People has to use that, which is not happening. That's a threat of the people, and there we have to utilize the technology support for the transformation which is going to happen, and the technology and the trust are going to work together to make the AI success in human resource function.
Right. Thank you, Dr. Ashok. You know, to quickly summarize that, and a very interesting point which you brought about, you know, actually most of us belong to a generation where we used to put in advertisements in newspapers and get physical CVs. and we've moved to a generation where we don't take our printouts. I am from that generation. I've got a paper, it's a reality that we've moved, we have adapted, we've adopted, and we have grown. The only thing that has changed is the pace of growth. That's it. That's the only thing which has changed. Otherwise, we've consistently done that. I remember the first time I was asked about AI was about 8 years ago, when somebody actually asked me that question about AI. And that time, I really didn't know much about it. I still don't know much about it. Still learning, and I think that's the attitude with which I look at it, because it's something that you learn as you go. It's interesting that how automation has moved on to machine language, and then machine language has now moved on to AI. So how do you see this transforming the role that HR has been traditionally playing across the board, Ravi? How do you look at the role of HR changing because of this? Ravi.
So you guys act very well. I knew the question is coming to me. We planted it, right? Come on, guys. All of us know this. We know the questions, and that's why I've done a little preparation. Today was the last panel discussion, so difficult to hold you guys. I see a lot of people stepping out. At the same time, we have to engage you in a conversation on AI, which you have been engaged since morning. So you heard enough about AI. So I'm now thinking what to do, right? So, and he asked me a very tough question, how the role of HR will change. All of us know it, come on, right? But one question, when was AI invented? Some know, some don't know. So those who don't know, it was invented in 1952. Yeah, so there are universities which offer PhD in AI in the Western world. There are professors who are PhDs in AI from decades, right? So that's the first one. But all of us have been using AI in our hands only since, I think, in 2004, 2005 onwards. Do you know which app? Any application, AI and ML usage? Google Maps, right? You all have been using AI and ML. That's not new, right? But then the sudden boom now on AI ML, right? It's because the speed with which data is available is the highest now, right? The internet boom, that's really taking up. So I asked you 2 questions, but I have still 3 more questions for you. So questions which will help you imagine, right? So my first question, so are we hiring for who someone was? I repeat, are we hiring for who someone was or who they are becoming? Think about it, it's a very deep question, right? So are you hiring for the 20th century history or the 21st century potential? Think about it. And is AI going to help you? Yes, it will. And it is you who has to figure out how it will. You'll have to go in the market and search solutions for it, right? So you cannot depend on your past limitations. You'll have to think about your future potential. So that's the first question. My second question to you is that, imagine if your entire HR department vanishes, it's no more in the organization, right? So would the employees feel the loss of humanity, or I can already hear the smiles, right? So would your entire employees feel the loss of humanity or the loss of paperwork? What is the answer, humanity or paperwork? How many say humanity? Okay. Paperwork? Still more paperwork, right? And for those humanity, I don't know how many of them are lying to themselves, right? But that's the harsh reality, right? So the question is that how many of HR we are moving from administration to value creation? Will AI help us? Yes. So we should be on a constant watch of how AI can help us to create value and move away from administration and think about value, right? My third question, are you using AI to make your current processes faster, yes or no? Or are you using AI to make the current processes better? Faster or better? If the process becomes faster, would your productivity improve? Yes or no? Come on, guys. Yes, right? But a bad process becoming much more faster will still spoil it, isn't it? So you have to really ask the question, right? So reevaluating that, and again, that's the place where AI would help you, right? So these are three perspectives I thought I'll build in the room before I really answer how the role of AI and ML, rather what is the role of AI and ML in HR and how it is transforming, right? So two aspects to it. One is moving from process to potential, right? So in HR we keep saying no. We are known for saying no, right? Any employee comes to you, thinks छुट्टी मिलेगी कि नहीं मिलेगी, approval मिलेगा कि नहीं मिलेगा, training का budget मिलेगा कि नहीं मिलेगा, right? So a lot of things people come to us say no. How do we move from no to yes, right? We become a yes function and not a no function. You have to think about that. That's the first element. And that is what is changing in the space of AI, I think, right? So when I say yes, yes is in case of human potential. And I'll give you an example. Few of our colleagues spoke about ML. In the past sessions, you spoke about ML. ML is machine learning. Do you know what is machine learning? Yes, no? So how machine learning works is, in your normal learning curve, if you plot the learning versus time, the graph moves linear, right? So it's exactly at 45 degrees. But machine don't learn like that. They learn like curve. So they go slow and then they start going up. So machine starts to learn very slowly. You need to give a lot of data inside it, and then suddenly there is a sprout, right? And it really oversees the normal linear curve. That's how machines learn. So what machine learning can give you is something which is invisible. Invisible like hidden skills, right? So when you put the data in AI systems, LLM, machine learning processes, you will get to know some of the hidden skills that are there in the organization. So do you have the right tools to identify that? You may find certain quiet burnouts. So are you able to spot the quiet burnouts? So that's the value that you're creating in the organization. And last but not the least, some of the untapped leadership, right? So this is three things that I think ML would really help you to bring in the organization. So that's how the role can really transform. Some people are doing it in some or the other way. I'm sure all of you are trying this in your organization. So that's the one part of the role that AI is changing for the HR. The other part is changing is the becoming an architect. And when I say architect, moving from process creators to strategic architects. And look at the employee life cycle. From recruitment to onboarding, to learning, goal setting, performing, until the time employee is exiting. Look at what are the places where we can create value for your employees. I'll pick one example of it. Imagine you have an organization with about 500 roles, right? That's the only data that you have. And you want to put a competency framework, you want to put an evaluation framework, you want to map the competencies and then generate content and then train your people and make them competent. And you don't have too much time. Can you use AI? So there are solutions available in the market who will map your entire job architecture. They will put job descriptions for you. They'll put competencies for you. They'll put assessments for you. And then they'll develop content for you using AI. And not only that, they will further evaluate who are your potential people to take up the next roles. That is the power of AI. There are vendors or solutions available in the market. We are exploring some. I'm sure you also are exploring some. So in the short, what I'm Sorry for my bad throat. How are we? In short, how are we moving from becoming custodians of the past to the architects of the future is what the role of HR would change. That's my summation.
Thank you so much, Ravi. I think that was a wonderful, answer, and it really covers the entire gamut of how AI can be utilized. Let me direct this question to Kinjal. I really would like to get your views on how do you see the implementation of an intelligent HCM, which will be able to focus or help people focus on the business outcomes or the business objectives of the organization.
Thank you, Sumit. Before I answer the question, this thing is that I am completing my postgraduate diploma in artificial intelligence in another 25 minutes. In the last 1 week, I have attended, this is my third session. One was in Leela, Gurgaon, exactly a week ago. A few days back was in Novotel, Ahmedabad, and now here in Radisson Blu, Mumbai. The wine remains the same, the bottles keep changing, so everything and anything that we had to learn about AI and ML, I have heard in the last 3 days. And I don't blame all of those who are scrolling their mobile despite the poor network here, because most of it that is being spoken has already been heard somewhere or the other. Now coming to the questions that Professor Ravi was asking, and it's a very pertinent point. I was thinking about that. Artificial intelligence term, while he said it was first introduced in 1952, the term was first coined, as far as I remember, in the year 1955. No, I was not born then, but it was first coined in the year 1955, so it is as old as, or whatever, 70 years old now as far as the term is concerned. We are, and I think I completely agree with what Sumit mentioned, that I know very little of AI, and most of us are like that. So when we take oaths, which we did a couple of hours ago, or when we raised our hands that we are not scared of it, I think we have moved from a state of unconscious incompetence where we didn't know what we didn't know. I mean, in 2004-5, we may be using Google Maps, but we still didn't really were familiar with artificial intelligence and machine learning. So that is unconscious incompetence. From there, we have moved to conscious incompetence. We know what we don't know. Now, then the third stage of learning is conscious competence. We know exactly what we have to know, but we are very conscious of what we are knowing. And the last stage of any learning is unconscious competence. Like when I'm talking now, I don't have to think when I have to talk. Or when I'm walking, I don't have to think that I have to put my foot like this or foot like that. It's an unconscious competence. So we have moved to second stage. We don't know what we are in for, and we have all heard about what it is. And I was reminded in one of the previous sessions, before I answer your question, Sumit, half a minute more, because Professor Ravi has ignited the professorial, instinct of mine. So, I was reminded of exactly the same date 6 years ago. And I am not comparing AI with COVID, so don't get me wrong. But exactly six years ago, on about 25th of February or so, we had heard about some place called Wuhan. Honestly, I had never heard of that city before, and we heard something is happening there, something would be happening there, but it doesn't bother us. I was in Gurgaon, some thousands of miles away, something is happening, it doesn't concern. But slowly it became a reality, but even then we were bajawing thalis. For a good while we were bajawing thalis and we were not concerned. It took another full year. When March, April 2021 came, then it really hit us. And it hit us all across the globe. And it hit across, whether you are in Mumbai or Gurgaon, it hit you everywhere. And that's the reality with which any new thing comes. It is, as we call, the second half of the chessboard. So when you put one grain in the first square of the chessboard, it is only one. And if you do a geometric progression of it, by the time you reach the half of chessboard, the number of grains that you need is uncountable. And by the time you reach the last square of the chessboard, it can feed the entire humanity as it stands today. So that's called the second half of the chessboard effect. So we are right now, right at the beginning. So coming to the question after a long-winded professorial talk is that what we are experiencing now is based on, we have just scratched the surface. We are at about 1%, 2% of what AI can do, and my esteemed colleagues have already mentioned all of it. We are scratching just 1%, 2% of it. One thing which we must know, I think Ravi did speak about it, that machine learning, and he explained machine learning very well in terms of a curve. Machine learning is based on statistical truths. It's not based on actual reality. What I mean by that in simple words is, if my last 5 hires have been Bengalis, for instance, and the machine learning takes that data, it would assume that whenever Kinjal is interviewing, the best candidate to be referred is a Bengali. Now, that's a statistical truth. That may not be the reality. It may so happen that this... So, in order to ensure that the machine gets the right data, the right inputs, to provide the solution is very important. And therefore, and I think somebody else spoke about it, in machine learning, you cannot know the exact reason why the machine is throwing up an answer. You will never get to know of it because there are multitude of points which determine why this recommendation has come. Therefore, it is very important as HR to understand what responses we are getting from machine learning, and is it something that we can take as a gospel truth, or do we have to use our own filter to decide what is to be taken and what is not to be taken. And that, I think, is the fundamental role of HR. We are using automated interviewing system in our company. So I think my colleague from Alkem was mentioning. So when we have to do mass hiring in the field, we use automated interview system where there is no human involved. You do an interview on the phone, that's about it. And there is a question comes. But often the answers that, the responses, the results that come are not exactly what we can go with. Because of no other reason, the data inside the machine is not valid, is not large enough for the machine to throw up the right answer. And that's where HR comes in a very big way to see what is the reality to be taken and what reality is only a statistical truth which has to be considered in that manner. I think I've stuck to my time.
Thank you so much, Kinjal. I think it's been a revelation, the way that you progressed on this. Very interestingly, when we look at any AI tool, we look at the output which comes out, and a lot of times the output is dismissed as saying that this is not right, it's got it wrong, but the fundamental concept of GIGO still applies. Garbage in, garbage out. Whatever you input is what the output that you're going to get. The same tool, if given the right prompts, would give you a very different response. So it is not just limited to a particular tool, it is also about how much we're feeding the tool and what that feeding leads on to. Speaking of tools, now that we are using various tools, of AI, we are looking at RPA, transforming the entire HR processes like recruitment, payroll management, etc. So Mahesh, what are your views on what are the tools available and how do they work?
See, today, before I start, I think like Kinjal mentioned and a lot of mentioned, there's so many AI conferences going around and all of us keep attending that, and many a times 50-60% of those people are afraid that AI is going to annihilate HR. That's a fear, while some of us may express, some may not. But one thing is very, very clear, it is not here to annihilate, it is only here to augment, provided you adapt. So that is something I think I wanted to start with. And to answer your question today, it is changing because today, as we move, the session before us, since morning, some interesting line, I remember one nice one which said, trust data, not beta. Okay. So at that point of time, I think some months ago or some years back, AI had reached a point, or AI or part of intelligence was data analytics was there, HR analytics was there. Today, AI has reached where it is not only telling you what to do, it is started doing what you are supposed to do, to a large extent with agentic AIs. So coming back specifically, for recruitment, it's completely revolutionized. It is no more about searching candidates. Like you said, we started with newspaper ads, then moved to Naukri, then moved to headhunting. Today, it is not about searching candidates. It is about matching. And that match is done by the system for us. Yes, it is still, accuracy levels may vary depending on, like we said, your past data and all that, but it is today moved to the match part of it. It is no more about search on the recruitment front. For example, we have tool that we are using, which is, today I don't have to go to 10 portals and social media. I give it the job requirement, it learns from that, it picks up, it moves across the internet, picks profiles from social media, picks profile from all the job portals, and then comes back. So that's where I think we are moving into. So how does HR move? I'm just putting in a perspective. A lot of us over the years, who was the best recruiters 10 years ago? Who would be called a best recruiter? Anybody? Maximum hiring, or somebody who had a very good database of particular skill sets, right? That fellow would be usually considered a good recruiter or contacts. Today it is not that. Today a good recruiter would be somebody who is able to ensure that the matches that are coming from the system are right. So that's where, when I'm talking about adaptation. The next part which comes payroll. Payroll today, all the AI tools that we use across, a lot of organizations are at different stage of it. Nobody is at a nascent stage anymore. Nobody does Excel-based spreadsheets. So what has it done? It has helped us to come out of this jail of spreadsheets, the way I like to call it, number one. Number two, it is no more about just doing the right, accurate payroll. Today, AI at certain level is going and also talking to people based on that payroll. Nobody today calls up HR and says, "Mera 50 rupees kam kyun aaya?" I work for a retail organization where we have got about 30,000 employees pan-India, for whom in the stores incentives matter a lot. And many a times my HR VPs get a call, my last month incentive has not come, it's not calculated. Today, from that we are moving away where the AI agents talk to them based on the data. So those are the things I'm talking about. So that's where it's coming to payroll. Induction is one more area where we've seen a lot of difference using AI. Earlier, inductions used to be mass inductions, especially if my hiring is across the country, ensuring the same quality of induction at the head office, at my state offices, stores is a challenge. But today, with things like personalized buddies, as we call them, and those kind of things, it's very easy for us to seamlessly ensure the quality of induction is at the pace for all the employees across the country, be it in Guwahati, it could be in Gandhinagar, or it could be in Gangtok. So I think that's where it's coming in. Learning and development, I think we spoke a lot. It is personalized learning, most importantly. Today I learn at my own pace. I'm not dependent. In the olden days, there used to be a training calendar. I had to attend that on those days. Those days are over now. I learn at my own pace. I have access to all the data, all the training programs. So that's where it's helping, but it's also done one more thing, which we as HR should realize and relook at. That was a learning for us some months back. With so much of training available, some of our old mindsets of employees' career development have to change. For example, if I'm talking about somebody, we earlier used to believe somebody moves from one role to another role, it takes 6 months, 8 months, 10 months. Now you may have to relook at that and see, are they doing it faster? It's still, we can't say, a lot of traditional organizations say, promotion 2 saal ke baad hi milega. Or somebody can move to a next role only after he does these 3 things. After 3 years, may not work like that anymore. Because what AI has done today, with the help of technology, of course, everything is, it has democratized completely learning. So on the learning part, that's one, where the timelines are reduced. Second, cross-functionality. Earlier, it was very, very rare for us to imagine somebody from a finance function trying to move into marketing, or for us into category or buying. Today, we see that happening, because those people are picking up that knowledge from the internet. Earlier, a finance guy may not know where to study category. And most important point, I think one more perspective for us is the way I see it, the last part of it, the exit management. That is one part which most of us ignore. But in today's times, where we are talking about organizations where most of the rehiring or the rehire rates have gone up. Because always remember, people who leave, for money may come back, or for any other reason, but people who leave for culture will never come back. And in today's organizations, with the organization space is shrinking, the market's becoming more consolidated, a lot of rehirings happen. So how do you treat an employee when he exits also matters a lot. So for example, for us, just like there's an employee self-service portal, we have a portal where an ex-employee can access all his information right from his Form 16 year down the line to all his letters. I think somebody was speaking in the morning, all kinds of letters that he requires. If he has any connect, all that is now happening online. So my HR BPs are relieved from taking those calls to a large extent. So those are some of those practical examples we look at.
Perfect. Thank you for that, Mahesh. It's actually interesting because what you touch upon is ultimately about the employee experience, and that is exactly what all of us have been talking about. It is about the employee experience and what experience are we able to create using the tools available for us. And it is not limited only to the employee today. It is from candidate to an alumni, across the board, right? And I'll pick up something that you mentioned in terms of the productivity piece, and also something that Ravi mentioned. Ravi seems to have triggered a lot of thoughts over here, but something very interesting. If you look at it from there, and you see that, and I'll direct this to you right now, Davis, because I want to get your views on how do you see AI being able to add to productivity across the organization.
Like Kinjal said, by the end of today's evening, probably not only you can collect awards, but PhDs as well. So to start off for, just look at the picture I have given to the organizers here. It is artificially generated. So I thought to start it from there. And I'll come to the question, but I want to set a context of what's AI doing. For me, AI is a revolution which is happening. We had various revolutions starting from industrial revolution to information technology, now AI. And a lot of people are scared of this AI revolution, and I should say that don't be scared. You have to just upskill yourself. If you upskill yourself, this is another skill which you are going to add into your resume or into your future. I would state a personal example of mine. Few days back, my 12-year-old son came up to me and asked me something, and I said, Google it. He said, why should I Google it when I do ChatGPT? I said, interesting. So that is the kind of upskilling he has done for himself, that he has found a tool where he will find an answer. Coming back to the various AIs available, we should be very careful about 3-4 things. One is the personal biases which can creep into the system. Somebody in the panel said that, Kinjal mentioned that if Kinjal is shortlisting Bengalis, definitely the AI would track that and it will only throw Bengali resumes to him. So we have to be very careful about the personal biases which can get into your learning machine, AI machine. Second one is we should be very careful about how are you training your AI. Because when I use my AI for my support in doing my day-to-day work at office, I have trained it well. So that one, what am I looking at? What are my topics which I am good at? What are the interest areas I am? And I keep feeding the AI. And the AI develops on that and shows me results which really helps me out the way I want. And it is becoming personalized. If you don't train your AI well, it will, the way other ma'am which gave a presentation before this panel, wherein she said that she got 2 responses for the same prompt, is because the training was not there. Yeah. Coming back to the question about productivity through AI, it is going to, I am a strong believer that it is going to exemplify what you are looking for. If you are looking at cost cutting, it will cut cost. If you are looking at creating a culture, it will create a culture for you. If you're looking at productivity, definitely it is going to give you productivity. It is what we want. And mind you, we shouldn't forget about I'm a strong propagator of employee experience and human experience at large. So while Ravi was speaking, he coughed for a moment. AI would not give him a bottle of water, but a human touch would. Yeah. So that is both ways. So you have to see how are you training your AI, in what fashion, and definitely, and when it comes to productivity, it is going to exemplify your productivity in various areas like sales, marketing, HR. Today, when we sit here, you don't have to wait for your team to actually work on the data and give you what was the attrition report. At a click of a button or at a click of a prompt, you will get what is your attrition, what is your retention, where has things gone wrong. If you feed your various entry and exit reports, which you do as a survey, when a new person comes in, you get a feedback. The AI can be very productive and throw points at you that what are the things and areas wherein you have to work on. When it is an exit, it will really tell you why this person is leaving your organization. And most of the time, we actually know it, but we try to ignore it. And AI is going to exemplify what we are trying to ignore.
Thank you, Davis. Yes, Ravi.
I like asking questions. I was so provoked to ask a question. How many of you are AI certified people? Apart from the PhDs you are getting today. How many of you are AI certified? Some course. One. Okay. Not even 2-3% in the entire room. That says it all, right? You are trying to implement AI, but you yourself don't know much about AI, right? And this is so important. Good to hear from people like us, because many of us are also may not be AI certified. So you don't know what you don't know. And this is happening for us also sometimes. Sometimes we also shoot in the dark. And let's accept that's hard reality, right? We are speaking based on the experience of things that we have seen. The reality may be different, right? So when you walk the park is when you will really realize that the world is totally different, right? And this is very important. I like what Kinjal spoke about, the different possibilities, different resources that can be, AI can really replace. One more I want to throw at you. Imagine you are at a certain stage in your career and you want to develop yourself to the next stage in the career. Can AI help you? Can it create a career ladder for you? Can it create a proper career development plan for you? Or you want to, maybe move laterally or to a different role? Can AI do it? Yes, it can. There are solutions. We are using it. I'm sure some of you might be using it, and there are many more. So what we are saying, resources, AI can take away. And if you recall, HR is what? HR is what? Full form. So resource is going, human will stay with us, right? Resource is going, human will stay with us. And I think that gives me a lot of relief that my job to have, right? As far as I can train my resources and have the right resources in place, my job is not going anywhere. Yeah, that's what I wanted to say.
Thank you, Ravi. I mean, he's almost summarized it for me. No, thank you for adding that point. It's very important to understand that ultimately people are going to be there, but it's just that the roles that we play today are going to change. There are things that we enjoy doing. There are things that we do as, which are monotonous in nature, which are repetitive in nature. A lot of that is going to be taken up as processes by the AI. But human interactions, the example which Davis just shared, the AI is not going to hand that bottle to you. That is still going to happen from human to human. So that is where the experience part of it comes in. That is where exactly we are going to create that impact. So let me, kind of throw open question to the entire panel now. Just a quick thought from your side. Now, AI, everybody is talking about AI as, everybody in the panel has also spoken about the fact that we've been talking about AI since the morning and in every conference that you go to. But the question from my side is slightly related and unrelated at the same time. What, in your view, are the future roles for HR?
So I think one thing that the way I see it evolving, especially for HR, is something called high-tech, high-touch roles. The high-touch part is going to come a lot more, because today what is happening, while the transactional part, now look at all our employees, okay, everybody has been dealing with hundreds of employees. Most of them may not want to connect with HR for transactional work, but they always look forward for meaningful connects, where they learn something. Is HR ready for that? So for example, from HR business partnering role, can they evolve into, somebody like a coach, or not a training manager, but somebody who can help a career builder kind of person? Instead of a data entry operator, can somebody evolve into a HR tech resource, teaching people to learn AI? For that, then, like you said, a lot of us will have to learn it ourselves first. But I think some roles that will evolve will always involve being more connected. While the technology will take care of the data, how you connect with employees, that is, I think, the roles will emerge in the future.
I'll just add to what he said, and I think Reena ji had answered the question earlier. I mean, HR, just like anybody else, ML or AI will not replace HR, but it will replace those in HR who do not adopt AI, who do not learn AI, and the show of hands that Ravi made all of us do is quite scary. So if we do not learn and adopt AI, then we will have a challenge. If we learn how to use AI for all the questions that Sumit has been asking, how to increase productivity, how to make it more efficient, how to get a better return on investment, if HR can learn those skills, that's where HR has to be in the next 5 years. Sorry, ma'am.
No, I also was saying that HR business partnering will actually get more strengthened. Today, HR business partnering is a bit more vague and fluid. You have to get embedded strongly into business, get involved more in value creation. How can you create a high performance culture? So really looking at people solutions, looking into the future, getting organization future ready, what capabilities. Now, even from coaching perspective, once you identify which capabilities, actually AI can help you on coaching on those capabilities also, till the time you give it that knowledge, right, to the agents. So I guess it's value creation, high impact, getting embedded into business, and then we will always have lots to do. AI will not replace everything, but AI will make you more efficient, less transactional, and work more towards that human connect and human touch, the meaningful conversations that we need to have with employees. I think that's what we'll end up spending more time with. That's what my view is.
Thank you.
There was a role known as typewriter, right? That's gone. Like that, there are so many roles that have gone. It was happening slowly. It will happen now, just that the speed is more. That's the only difference, right? So that's first thing. That time we were learning slow. Now we need to learn fast. That's the only difference, right? So again, I say, please invest in yourself. Relation में invest करते हो, अपने spouses के लिए कुछ ना कुछ खरीदते हो, relation को maintain करने के लिए, इसको maintain करने के लिए 5%, 10% of your package, put in yourself, take one step back and take 10 steps forward. So that's my recommendation as somebody who has some experience. That's one. Second, many of you must be watching news channels. If you have seen Anjana Om Kashyap, rings bells, right? She's a news reporter. And suddenly one day I was seeing that there are two Anjana Om Kashyaps on the screen, right? And I was thinking, why two? They can manage with one, right? So one person is speaking, second person is speaking. actually it's not the second person, it is a digital avatar of Anjana Om Kashyap, right? So please remember, there will be a lot of digital avatars of yours coming in the offices as well, right? Doing your jobs. Somebody in the previous panel spoke about it. So digital avatars coming. I don't know if you try to create your own digital avatar. I have tried to do it. I can tell you the name of the app, HeyGen, one of the best apps to create a digital avatar. Try it yourself. One time you can do it free. After that, it'll ask you a lot of money, right? So try it. You will love the app. You can explore it. But yes, this is going to happen. But as I said, the human part will still be with you.
Right, thank you. I think we've kind of overshot our time, so we will close it at that. Thank you very much, everybody, for your contributions.
Thank you so much. And ladies and gentlemen, big round of applause for this wonderful panel here, and wonderfully moderated by Sumit Mukherjee ji. Now, honorable panel members, I would request you to kindly be on stage for a few more minutes. And I would like to call on stage Mr. Daipayan Mukherjee from Genius HR Tech Limited. Daipayan, if you could come on stage to kindly felicitate the august audience of this esteemed panel members here. Thank you. We'll start first the felicitation with Dr. Ashok Priyadarshi from Alkem Laboratories. Can we have the certificate for Dr. Ashok? Dr. Ashok, a big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Dr. Ashok Priyadarshi from Alkem Laboratories. Thank you, Doctor, for your wonderful contribution on the panel. Moving next, we have Mr. Mahesh Kuttarkar from Reliance Digital. A big round of applause to Mahesh, sir, for his wonderful contribution in the panel session. Moving next to Mr. Ravi Hemnani from Nuvoco Vistas Corporation. A big round of applause to Ravi, sir, for his wonderful contribution in the panel. Moving next to Ms. Reena Tyagi from Generali Central Life Insurance. A big round of applause to Reena ma'am for her wonderful contribution in the panel. Moving next to Mr. Kinjal Choudhary from Cadila Pharmaceuticals. A big round of applause to Kinjal sir for his wonderful contribution in the panel. And now, ladies and gentlemen, our honorable moderator for the panel, Mr. Sumit Mukherjee from HDFC ERGO General Insurance. A big round of applause. A big round of applause for Sumit Mukherjee, sir, for wonderfully moderating the panel session and for his insights as well. And Devesh John from Raymond Realty. A big round of applause to Devesh ji for his wonderful contribution in the panel session. Honorable panel members, would request you to kindly step forward for a group photograph, and Daipayan, if you could also join them. I think we can have another big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for this panel. Big round of applause for them. Intelligent HR, how is AI a game changer in human resources? And a big, big thank you to this esteemed panel. Thank you, each and every panel member, for your valuable insights and thoughts. And big thank you to Sumit ji for wonderfully moderating this session.